Hey everybody, it's Jochen Hayden, and I'm back with the Desert Wolf versus Wirraway Ace War in the Pacific campaign. This is scenario 1 with stacking limits, the 2nd of November, 1942. Let's see what happens now. Okay, here we go. This is November 2nd, 1942. Wirraway and Desert Wolf. Looks like the Allies actually grab a base north of Rangoon just by proximity, which suggests that there's not a lot of Japanese troops in Rangoon. Oh. Oh. Check this out. We got a Dutch sub firing on the surface with a deck gun. Looks like they found an AKL in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know where this is at right now. And right now they're using their anti-aircraft guns. Yeah, the 4cm Haselmeyer is actually an anti-aircraft gun. Seems to be doing plenty of damage to this guy. Now they're using their big deck gun. It does appear that the AKL is firing back, though. Well, let's see what happens here. I'll have to look and see where this transpired. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Or maybe there's an island here that I can't see, but I'm pretty sure this ship's pretty much done. Yep, there it is. Wow. That's a weird place to intercept, huh? Alright, no night strikes on this turn. Whoa! Looks like the Allies are going for, wait. Who's landing where? Oh, this is the Japanese attacking Stewart Island. Like why? At this point, it doesn't even make any sense. Man, that's a lot of troops to lose for... okay, I mean, like, what's the point now? I thought it was the Allies taking that back, but it appears to be the Japanese. That's near Tulagi. That seems kind of random. No real naval activity other than that sub so far, so we're into the AM phase of the air war today. A lot of Japanese spotters, seaplanes, recon planes over Abemama. Okay, Catalinas are now finding Japanese ships and such. All right, so now they're sweeping over Lanchow, the Japanese, and we see the Allies are back to doing their sweeps, and they're back to where are we at? This is pretty deep actually. Pisanukaloke. What is it? I never say this right. Pisanuloke. Pisanuloke? Pisanuloke. Okay, that's pretty deep. He must be planning to bomb here. Okay, a lot of recon here. Okay, get some pretty heavy bombing raids coming into Lanchow. It's heavy rain in the target, plus this is a desert hex, I believe, so I'm not expecting a lot of casualties here. And there really wasn't, considering how many troops are there, and the Japanese actually lose an aircraft due to flak. Okay, another sweep over Lanchow. Another attack on Lanchow. And again, another sally shot down due to flak. Whatever they got here, the Allies have a lot of flak. Okay. So interesting that he's going and attacking Lanchow and not the unit just south of it. I guess he feels confident that he can blow this out without really needing any assistance from the air. A lot of sweeps over Lanchow as if there's going to be any Allied aircraft there. Okay, so it looks like the Allies are starting to take a peek at Nauru. And here we go with some bombing. And there, sure enough, he's going for Pisanaloke. Ooh, catching some aircraft down the ground there. Ooh, this is going to hurt. Yeah, look at that. I do not understand. I don't understand these guys' aversion to flying cap missions. Now, I know he swept here, but look at all of these aircraft that are on the ground. They're so exposed. You have to protect them, right? And if you're not going to use these aircraft to fly cap, then what's the point? They're just sitting there. Look at all these losses that he just took. This is a bad day for the Japanese right now. And expect a lot more coming in here. All right, we got B-17s coming in probably from here or here. And they're starting on Nauru, which I think is a great idea. And now we get a kind of peek on what they've got on the ground here. Got a Mavis, which is a patrol plane, and a recon plane, the Dina. And two of those are destroyed with heavy damage to the base. This is what I like to see. I think Nauru needs to be neutralized before he drives too much further north. That's my opinion. Of course, DesertWolf may not agree, but I like to see these throwing some attention this way. Okay, expect more aircraft losses on the ground at Pisanokole. Yep, look at that. This is a big mistake. I think this is a big mistake for the Japanese. By not flying cap over your base, you're stationing aircraft on the ground that are subject to bombing like this. This is not a good day for him. Oh, dude. Oh, man. This is going to be bad today for the Japanese. Yeah, dude. The losses are crazy. All these fighters sitting on the ground when they should have been up there flying cap. Okay. B-17's coming in from Tabatuea, hitting Nauru. Expect more losses for them. The Japanese. Yep. No. Check this out. So now we know he's got dive bombers stationed here. Who knows what unit this is from, but just sitting on the ground to get blown up. Expect more losses. Yeah, dude. These Mavises are hard to replace, too. This is good stuff. This is what I want to see. And the hits just keep on coming. No protection here. Yeah, dude. These losses are just terrible. I can't wait to see the intel reports. How many aircraft that he lost in the ground. Big mistake by the Japanese player. Some sweeps. These are some of the leftovers from the other squadrons that didn't take all their fighters. Yep. 22 and 3. Yep, he's definitely looking at Macon. So I don't even know which way he's going now. Macon or Nauru. But either one, they're at risk. Another sweep over Pegu. Man, I just don't get this air war. If this is how it's fought at the top levels, I'll never figure it out. I just can't abide not putting up cap. I'm clearly not understanding the situation well, but it just seems like he's giving the allied player carte blanche to do whatever they want in the air by not opposing anything. Ooh, and an Emily shot down. Those are even harder to replace than a Mavis. Ooh, this patrol boat's getting tore up out there by the PBYs. And the Zeros come in for a sweep but missed the P40s. So we get no air activity here. Some full Mars. What are these guys going to do? It's pretty bold to use these guys for anything. A sweep with a full Mar? Eek, those are not the best fighters. This makes more sense. P-38's coming in from Akyab. Yep, you got the daily raid on Kokos Island from Christmas Island. Expect very little casualties here. And there you go. More full Mars. Yikes. He's lucky that there was no Japanese fighters here. All right, that was a very active air phase. The poor Japanese got slammed. Oh. Oh, the Mark 14 special strikes again. But the Herring is out there just tearing it up, man. This is the sub that sank 2 ships a couple days ago. The Herring is definitely on point. Got a hit on the Ryunan Maru, and it was just the Mark 14 issue and didn't detonate. Oh no! Oh, that's killer, man. These Mark 14s are just killing, just awful, man. I hate it. So the whale is now being subjected to an attack, but these little patrol boats just they're not packing enough heat to really hurt these subs much, especially in deep water. I had a pretty sizable task force here, escorted by only a single patrol boat. The whale fires 2 torpedoes, gets a hit, but Mark 14 again. Man, it's frustrating. I know. Trust me, I know how it feels. Okay, here we go. Land combat. Let's see what we get today. Excellent. This is what I thought he needed to do. So this should be pretty open and shut. I think he got him. Yep, he got him. 100% blew through there today, and we expected this. 9-1 odds. Basically 0 casualties for the Japanese, and the Allies suffer heavily as they retreat into Lanchow. And now the siege of Lanchow will commence here in a couple days. I've been waiting for this. All right. Well, I knew this needed to happen, and it did, so good for Wirraway for finally pushing the button and getting this done. All right, and again, a bombardment attack here, which I think is a waste of time. There it is. Not even worth the supply. All right, and the Japanese weirdly going for this dot base in Tulagi. Who knows why at this point? In October of 42, still trying to do this kind of stuff. But they get it. I guess. Good job. I don't know why. Maybe he just got tired of seeing a little speck of green near all of his red. That's it for the turn. Not a good day for the Japanese on this one. Especially on the what is it? The on the bombing on the ground, man. Huge tactical error for the Japanese to leave all those aircraft within bombing range of the Allies and not protect them with a cap. I don't get it. This is not going to be a good day for Wirraway for aircraft. Okay, looks like we have some more Allied destroyers being taken down for refit. Looks like we have one AK coming in at Cape Town. Nothing serious there. All right, I cannot wait to see the Allied or the Japanese losses on this. Man, the Japanese got blown out today. Look at this. Look at this. Aircraft losses today. 78 total. Look at all the ones on the ground. That's insane. A lot of big, like Mavises. What else? Oscars, Dinas, Helens, Lilies. This was not a good day for the Japanese at all. So 78-3. So top pilots, only one KIA pilot for DesertWolf today. Not bad at all. Looking at the Army loss points, due to the loss south of Lanchow, the Allies took 13 loss points for the Army today. Japanese 0. However, due to the incredible performance of the Allied Air Forces today, the score actually went in the Allies' favor, 88 points today, which lowered the ratio down to 1.64. So, Allies hitting the brakes and dialing the clock back a little bit on this one. Overall, very good turn. Looking at ships sunk last turn, the Nane Maru was sunk by the Dutch K-14 using AA guns. Not bad, right? So a good turn for DesertWolf, more or less, in most places. So looking at the combat report, one thing I noticed here that you'll never see in the animations is Japanese minesweeping activity. We see that DMS W9 actually swept 32 mines at Bataan. at Bataan. And you won't see that animation, but the combat report will tell you that. And then obviously the K-14 is way out here. So this is where the K-14 engaged that lone ship, which I don't really understand what he was doing out here. Unless, here's what I think. I think the K-14 was coming back from Midway after refueling. Right? Because I think DesertWolf uses this as a sub base, right? So the K-14 was coming back, and he stumbled upon one of Wirraway's guard ships. So a lot of players will put ships out here in the middle of nowhere, okay? And they act as guards, as like tripwires. So if you're going to bring in a big surface task force, a carrier, or what have you, you're going to have to go through these AKLs first, or whatever small ships. So I think the K-14 actually stumbled upon a guard ship that's set out here just so Wirraway has advanced notice of a big fleet coming towards him. It just lined up, and that's how it hit this time. Because that's the only thing that makes sense based on the trajectory from Midway. And if you look at Midway, for example, this ship here, the O-23, is taking a similar path, right, to a somewhat similar patrol area. So I think that's what that was. Because there's no other good reason to have an AKL out here except for that. Okay, looking at SIGINT. The only thing I noticed that was kind of interesting to look at was the radio transmissions. Where is it at? Right here, 125, 124. And that is actually right here. And we see that he's got some sort of patrol boats or something going here. And that segues very nicely into the ops report, which I want to show you this. And that is this activity from the PBYs that are flying from the Gilberts. They allegedly hit one or both of the patrol boats in that sector. And that radio transmission might be those guys calling for help because they're sinking. Or something like that. So when you have patrol aircraft like this, right? And they're on naval search. When they have really high skill, like this, right? Anything over 60 gives them a good chance of actually attacking while they're carrying out their naval search. So in this case, they'd be using their bombs. And a PBY can carry up to at least a couple of these 500-pound bombs, maybe even more. And when they have that kind of skill level, they can actually attack. So one other indication that your ships, that your, if you want to know exactly which PBY attacked, it's more than likely going to be the one that just had a skill increase. Because let's say it's this pilot that dropped the bombs and got a hit. He's going to gain some skill from that successful drop. And that would make sense to me. So this is probably the guy that did the damage. Maybe this one too, but definitely this guy. So good job to him. That's really all I saw in the combat, the SIGINT, and the ops report. Let's go ahead and talk about the ground situation now. So I've been waiting for this for a while, but it does appear that Wirraway did break through here, and now he's on his way to Lanchow. And Lanchow is not really in a good situation right now. They have basically no supply. They have a lot of AV, but no supply. And the fortification level could be better. The only thing that Lanchow does have going for it is it's on desert rough terrain, which is really hard to attack in. And it's going to be progressively harder for Wirraway to move supplies north because there's a very high supply cost when you're moving through mountain terrain like this, right? Mountain, 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 mountain. If we look over here, you'll see that mountain terrain, right, has a very, very high supply cost, 25 per. And desert doesn't have quite as high, but it's still a lot. So when you go to add up the supply cost to move supplies up here for the Japanese, right, it would go basically come from here and have to pass through a lot of hexes that have very high supply costs. So it would take forever to get your supply in, probably up to a week at a time to get supply into these bases or these hexes as you get further up into these mountains. And that works both ways. It's bad for the Japanese and it's bad for the Allies too. But the Japanese are definitely going for Lanchow. The thing is that Wirraway has at least one unit, which I believe is this one, moving into the hex. So they will get into the hex next turn no matter what. There's nothing they can do to stop it. And when they get there, it should, in theory, stop the advance of these guys because it's going to close the hex side. So next turn, the Japanese are going to basically be halted from their forward movement into Lanchow, and they'll have to stop and deal with that unit that just showed up into the hex. But it's still not looking good up here in Lanchow due to the supply shortages. I keep talking about this hex down here. Ooh, nope. I keep talking about this hex down here, but there's really nothing much to say. The Japanese are not going to break through here. These bombardments are wasting supply. They're not going to do anything to this unit without a much more concerted effort. Now, let's talk about the real winner for this turn. Was the incredible bombing attack on Pisanuloke here. And again, I may be really misunderstanding the whole air combat situation. And DesertWolf did try to explain to me why they do long-range cap and sweeps as opposed to regular cap. But this is why I'm not a fan of it. Because Wirraway had a significant bomber presence in this hex here. And absolutely zero cap. Not long-range cap, not nothing. So the fighters from Prome basically were able to sweep through there with nothing to stop them, right? And these are very good units. Look at these. Man, look at all that. Look at how good these pilots are. They came through there. They swept it, and there was no opposition. And then the bombers were able to come in from Akyab and probably Chittagong. If I can see. Do we have any bombers here that are capable of that? Probably not. So I'm guessing they all came from Akyab then. No, they didn't. Where did they come from? I don't even know where they came out of. What base did they come from? Heck, I don't know. A bunch of B-17s came in here, and they blasted this airfield because there was no fighter cover there. So that's the danger that you run when you have aircraft forward deployed like this, and you don't have sufficient air cover to cover them. And I don't think that's a good thing. So I think you're going to see Wirraway actually get really spooked here and pull a lot of his aircraft, maybe all the way down to Bangkok even, because he's not going to want to incur those kind of losses again. So DesertWolf not only had a good tactical victory by killing a lot of aircraft on the ground and catching Wirraway flat-footed, he's probably going to scare Wirraway into pulling a lot of his aircraft out of these airfields because he doesn't feel like he can properly protect them against that kind of a thing. So that's just going to make it easier for him to do what he's got to do, trying to dislodge all these Japanese troops here with his aircraft without having to really worry about intervention from the Japanese, or less anyway. So good job to DesertWolf for seeing this weakness, and Wirraway needs to figure something out here because he can't take those kind of losses every turn. No way. Something interesting that occurred this last turn was Japanese going for Stewart Island. So apparently this whole campaign, all the way up to November here, this dot base has existed as a allied base that was unoccupied. I guess Wirraway got a wild hair up as you know what and decided he wanted to take this base. I don't know why he chose now to do it. I don't see any value to that, but I guess it doesn't hurt anything. It's burning fuel and burning time when he could probably do something better with that. But great job. He's got Stewart Island, which gained him absolutely 0 points. It's not developed. Now, let's take a look at the Gilbert Islands. We see that now we have attacks on Nauru Island, in which case DesertWolf caught Wirraway flat-footed again and caught a significant amount of bombers on the ground and damaged them and destroyed some, to include some Mavises, which are really hard to replace. And those are good scout planes. And we know now that DesertWolf's naval search goes all the way deep into the Marshall Islands, right? He gets up to Roy Namur, Kwajalein. He can see everything that's going on, to include this little guy right here. So I am very curious as to what this thing's trying to do. This is a task force that was spotted near Ailing Lap Lap. So I don't know where this is going to go. I strongly advise these guys not to go south because, one, they're going to run into all that. And two, there's a lot of ships down here. I mean, a lot. So if Wirraway was smart, he needs to get these guys and get the heck out of town. To be honest with you, I think the whole position in the Marshall Islands is looking very not good. There's so much force down here right now. Aircraft, ships. I don't even know what Wirraway's got up here that could possibly push back against any of this. So I would say the whole Marshall Island chain is looking like it needs to be abandoned here in the near future. Now, I know he won't do that. He's going to sit there and make him fight for every island. And it will slow him. It will slow DesertWolf down a bit, but it's not going to stop him. I don't see the Japanese capable of mounting any kind of meaningful offense, or for that matter, a meaningful defense against all this force that we have arrayed down here, right? All these ships, right? All these destroyers. We have these heavy cruisers here, right here, which alone is probably more naval power than Wirraway's gotten all of the Marshalls. And then we got these little guys down here just hanging out. These 4 battleships, these R-class battleships, which could do a lot of damage. Now, when I asked DesertWolf about this, he said he was waiting for escort ships. But, you know, I'm looking over here. And I see a significant amount of escort ships here. A lot of these could be peeled off and sent over to help these R's move forward and start blasting the heck out of Nauru and Makin Island. So I would not want to be the Japanese player in the Marshalls right now. It ain't looking too hot. And I think that's it for the turn. The last thing I'd like to take a look at is out here near Pearl Harbor. I do know a few days ago. Yep, here we go. We had DesertWolf moving these guys down to Pearl, and they should get their next turn. These 2 escort carriers and some heavy cruisers and such. And then we also have a lot of these standards with the Repulse, the Warspite, and Sodak, South Dakota, coming on down to Pearl. And I don't know what they're relocating for. So I'll be watching these 2 collections of ships very carefully. And don't forget, we also have the bulk of the American carrier fleet here at Pearl, and we don't even know what they're doing. Oh, I do know what they're doing. They're upgrading. But after that, I don't know what his plans are to employ these guys. My guess is they'd go after the Marshalls, or they could be used on an offensive operation on mainland Japan. I don't really know, but a lot of stuff's on the horizon here in this campaign, and it's going to get really good. I'm looking forward to seeing the next amphibious operation here in the Gilbert/Marshalls. I really want to see the Japanese get into Lanchow and take that and see what happens next after that, because they're going to free up a lot of fuel and oil doing so. Now I want to see what can be done to break the stalemate here in Burma, because that's basically what it is on the ground. It is ground to a halt. The only place that I saw DesertWolf capable of really having a good attack was here at Tungi, and that window is now closed. And lastly, we'll see what the Japanese do with all their aircraft out here. My guess is that they're going to start pulling them back towards Bangkok, because these bases are going to be untenable if Wirraway doesn't wish to put up the appropriate amount of fighter cap to stop these bombing attacks. So I hope you enjoyed this battle. I really did. I don't think I've ever seen that many aircraft lost on the ground in one day, unless it was like the December 7th Pearl Harbor strike, and even then, I don't think I see numbers like that. So this was a blowout. We'll catch you guys on the next one.